Let's take a look at our daily bias. Let's get it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Jimmy Trades here. Thanks for joining us today. We'll start on the calendar. Nothing to see here for the rest of the week with the government shutdown. Even next week's got plenty of news, but most of it tentative. So we'll just play our game as usual. Moving on to the charts now. Let's have a look at NQ. Remember to grab your Apex accounts using code Jimmy, up to 50% off at the moment. And you can also grab Lightning funded Tradeify accounts of 45% off, which is a stellar deal. Use code Jimmy Trades for that. Or any other accounts, code Jimmy Trades will get you 30% off. And of course, please smash the like button. Rightio, let's have a look at NQ. Starting off on the daily, and we've got a sweep of the previous day high already. So I'm looking at potential shorts or price moving back into the range here. At this stage, we've had expansion all week, even since Thursday last week. So we're due for a move lower, but the market will always do what it wants to do. What do we have? We do have some insight to order flow. Yesterday's candle closed back inside the range of the previous day. So maybe we are getting a midweek reversal. Sweeping out previous day high is a good indication that we might not see price move higher today. So looking to run lower for NQ, much the same for ES. ES had that bearish closer yesterday, still inside the range. It was a double sweep. However, we have swept out previous day high here on ES as well, and it looks like we are going to continue lower. So first area of interest will be previous day low from here on. YM has already it's pushed up to the midpoint of yesterday to the tick. And you can see we have an SMT here as well between YM and NQ. So NQ sweeping out the high, YM has not. We did sweep out the low of yesterday for YM. However, using that equilibrium of the previous day and remaining with respect to that, I would anticipate we'll see lower prices and we'll probably fill this gap today, at least on YM. Jumping over to oil. Oil was a bit of an indecisive candle yesterday. It swept the low out into that volume imbalance, but then pushed up when we weren't able to close through the equilibrium of Tuesday's range. We do have that devil's mark at the high there still. However, if we look at today's move against yesterday's range, you know, we have respected that equilibrium there as well. So low hanging fruit, previous day low is where I'll be looking for first and foremost, and see if we get the rest of that volume imbalance filled along the way. Moving over to gold now, and we'll have a quick look at a lower time frame on gold as well, because there was a nice long position that played out during the London session. So yesterday we moved higher up into this bearish FEG on the daily, and then we closed back inside the range. So again, this is our insight to order flow, suggesting we might see price continue to move lower off of that. We also couldn't close back above these opposing candles here. Today, however, has swept the low of the previous day and is pushing higher. And we do have a change in structure. So we have started to put in some bullish price action here, supported by the structure itself. So let's see if price has a willingness to come up and sweep previous day high as well. And then, you know, if we do get a close above that level, or even anywhere above the equilibrium of the previous day's wick, because that's larger than the body. So I'm using that, and you can see we're reacting to that level at the moment. A close above that level will suggest potential higher prices and invalidate this down close candle here. Let's drop down to the 3 minute for a moment. And we'll also just roll back a little bit. That's the trade there. We'll just roll back a little so we can see the fractal high time frame candle. And that candle here is this 30-minute candle. And this is the London strategy that I use. So I look for a closure back inside the range on a 30-minute, and we had that here. Once we had that, then we got a closure above the high on the next 30-minute candle, sorry, above the open of the previous candle. So that's suggesting to me that we'll move higher, and then we could take a position off this change in state of delivery here. So once price closed through on this 409 candle, closed through this level, that's your opportunity to get in. And we can see that we retested that level perfectly, and then price didn't look back, and we ended up smashing that. So that would have been a nice 20-point trade there on gold during London, if I was watching it at the time, but I was not. But it's always good to look at these setups and review them. Let's drop over to Dixie now. Dixie had a strong day yesterday, closed out these value swings that we were looking at as well. We didn't get a sweep of the low here, but we did get that move higher. So quite a strong move. And again today, if we run the equilibrium, we can see that we're respecting that level. So I'm going to anticipate price to continue to move higher today and look for that previous day high as the low hanging fruit, and then potentially these value swings to the left. Jumping over to Euro, inversely correlated to Dixie. So if Dixie's going up, we can anticipate the Euro to go down. Looking at previous day, we can see the respect of the equilibrium there, and previous day low will be our initial target. Over to the pound, we smacked that level we had marked out, and we could see price continue to move lower here as well for the pound. You know, pound and euro are generally correlated, respecting the equilibrium of previous day here as well for the pound. So we can look for previous day low. And we'll just jump over to crypto now, have a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not ideal, not ideal. We are getting a move back into the range here from previous day after sweeping the low, so that's something at least. And we are playing off this bullish FEG. Just going to clear some of this off. So these series of down close candles here, ideally I'd like to see price hold above the equilibrium of those bodies there to help support the idea that price will continue to move higher. If we can close back in the range here today, in other words, we get a closure above the low, so it could even close where it is, or a bullish close would be ideal. Then from there we can frame longer or higher prices. Moving over to Ethereum, and we've just swept previous day low. It could even be equal lows there. What have we got? We've got the low at, let me just clear that off, won't change anything. Low at 3840, 384, so it's equal lows. Ideally, a sweep would have been better. And so we'll have to just see how that one plays out for Ethereum. And what we are doing at the moment is respecting that equilibrium from yesterday. So it suggests price might want to move lower for Ethereum here. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in today. That's it for today. We'll feel free to leave a comment. Make sure to hit that like button. Remember to grab your evals using code Jimmy for Apex, code Jimmy Trades for Tradeify, and we'll see you over in Trade Foundry. Bye for now.